Raise the Roof Production.
Well, you'll never know the heartache of looking a grown man in the eye, and he asks, am I gonna make it? And you gotta lie. Well, they call me Doc, but I ain't got no degree. When shit hits the fan, they're calling for me. From bluegrass Kentucky, with red blood on my hands, nobody calls me hero except for my friends. Yeah, they call me Doc.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to another episode of Sit Call with Doc. I'm your host, Rod Doc Wabick, United States Navy veteran. With me always, my brother, Joe Misfit Glenn, Army combat medic, hitting the dials and the buttons in the back. Our buddy, Brian Devil Dog Roof, United States Marine Corps combat veteran. And with us today, I think...
Micah will be back in just a second. Actually, he's coming now.
Gotcha. No worries.
There he is.
And there's our buddy. Today we have, I consider, a very special dude. He's got a hell of a story that I think is going to inspire anybody who listens today. Please welcome to the show, Specialist Micah Hahn. Micah Hahn.
Welcome, Mike.
Army Specialist. Hey, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me, folks.
How are you, bro?
I'm doing good,
you're
actually.
welcome, man. Well, that's good. That's good. Have you ever done anything like this before? You ever done a podcast like this?
Not like this, but I have done interviews before, earlier in the year.
Okay.
So.
Okay, cool. So you feel calm and you feel cool and ready
I'm
to
ready
tell
to
your
rock.
story?
Ready to rock.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Well, let's get the fuck after it then. Start wherever you wish. Finish wherever you wish. Just always tie in how cannabis helps bring good things to your life. And the floor is yours, brother.
Well, thank you guys for having me. Little backstory here about my earlier years. When I mean early years, I mean when I was knee-high to a grasshopper's knee. My father was a Chernobyl survivor back in '86 when that all went down. He was a supervisor for Chernobyl for the security detail there after all that went down. And
they literally sent him to Chernobyl.
Yep. A few months later, I was conceived, and I was born in Rosenheim, Germany, which is actually pretty cool. You know, not many people can say they were born there. And I grew up in and out of foster care because my parents were going through a split and things weren't working out well. Spent the remaining years of my formative years in who are now my adoptive parents. That's where the name Hahn comes from. Even though I was heavily involved in school, I was a track, choir, I did all kinds of stuff. I was heavily involved in my church and almost every ministry I could possibly be involved in, the community, as well as maintaining jobs while doing all this in high school.
Wow.
At one point, I actually ended up working 3 jobs when I was a senior and still graduated top third of my class.
Nice.
Right on, man.
But even though I had all that going, I still felt empty. I still felt like my life lacked purpose.
Wow.
So 2 months later, I joined the Army 2 months exactly after I graduated high school. And 1 week exactly before before I turned 19. That was pretty special to me. And went to Iraq in 2008, 2009. That's kind of where things fell apart even worse in my life. Came home, didn't have a good relationship with my family, allowed my anger and everything to overwhelm me. So I started using cannabis at that time to, kind of just, tell my family and everybody, I don't care what you say. I'm going to live for me and not for you. Well, it didn't really help my relationships at all. In fact, I was still pretty angry and still isolate myself from most people.
Are you saying that you were?
What's that?
Are you saying that you used cannabis prior to going in, or are you talking about after you got out? Help me, I didn't catch that.
I used cannabis in between deployments.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I came back, because I was with the National Guard, there's a transition period from active service back to National Guard status. And during that time, I lost who I was, got into cannabis, and I was still serving, so I was subject to drug testing at any time.
Yeah, sure.
And, I struggled bad with my first marriage. It didn't work well at all. And then I ended up transferring to New York with the New York Army National Guard. And the unit that I was joining was going to Afghanistan. And that was 2010 to 2011 when I left for Afghanistan. The entire time I was there, my ex-wife kept hounding me about getting a divorce done when I'm literally trying to watch myself from getting blown up. My problem didn't stay in the United States, just followed me overseas.
Yeah. It happens a lot, man. You're not alone. I've seen it happen to a lot of folk over there, overseas. It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard on our spouses back home too, guys. We got to give credit where credit's due a little bit.
Yeah.
It's hard being a military spouse, man.
It is.
The person that you love is gone, and you're just there on your own. And if it's your wife, and you got kids, and everything's on them, man. And not to take light of what we do, but I'm just saying, like, it's tough on them too. Anyway,
Oh yeah. I mean, I went overseas and I came back in 2011, and my life literally had to start from the ground zero. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a place to live. I didn't have a job. I was filing for a divorce. I mean, it's a wonder how I didn't come back and literally drink myself to death within the first 6 months.
Now, Micah, is in the National Guard, is this commonplace where they don't necessarily have a debriefing or any kind of programs to help you readjust? Did they do that, offer that, or anything like that?
They tried to, and it was more or less kind of like a pioneer stage, because what they had done was when I got back from Afghanistan, not from Iraq. I went back to the unit 3 times, and then after that, it was just enough time for them to finish up the paperwork, finish up any final awards to hand out, and then release us back to the unit in which we came from if we were not originally part of that unit.
Right.
So when I came back from Afghanistan, we had what was called a yellow ribbon event. And that was basically, they set up tables and had to sit through what felt like death by PowerPoint or death by talking from different various people that are saying, you know, come see us at our booth, come see us at this booth, blah, 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 blah. We're here for you. But yet there was always a joke of don't beat your spouse, don't kick the dog.
Right.
But nothing was ever really taken seriously. And they handed us paperwork. You know how many guys lied on that paperwork saying that they didn't see nothing, they didn't, just so they wouldn't be bothered by people coming up and maybe trying to institutionalize them, if they were being honest.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't getting the real truth from the veterans until, as you guys are unfortunately aware of, the spouses are freaking out, families are falling apart because the veteran's angry or having issues that are unfamiliar territory for everybody.
Yeah.
And
There's a
when
lot
you
of
come
stuff
back,
that changes.
yeah, and when you come back, the veterans hid from the help. Am I understanding that? Like, I'm not going to fill this out honest, because then you're going to be up my ass about all this stuff, and I don't want no part of that either. And so it's the very first step of the isolation, and carrying it all on you, you know? Wow.
I mean, I had neighbors that were like, why are you locking yourself in now? It's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, because I have to get up early tomorrow to go and serve my country. People don't understand that. They don't understand why it's easier for the veteran to go into the liquor store and buy a single bottle than it is to buy a bunch of stuff at the same time when it's just them, or to go into a restaurant and sit at the bar as opposed to a table. You're not looking for conversation. You're looking for isolation, even if you are 2 feet away from another human being.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way I see it going on right now with you, well, I guess I should ask the question, your leadership, you know, your NCOs and the higher ups, how many of them had experience in deployments and the problems that come back, you know, that everybody comes back with? It would be my guess that your leadership should have had a little bit more know-how on how to protect their soldiers when they came back. There's a lot of things that happen to us when we go overseas and we come home. We are changed. Our family has changed. They grow. They become their own people. We change for the environments that we are in. And it's like meeting that person all over again for the first time. And it's really unfortunate, but a lot of the times you guys you're not the same. So you don't get along like you used to. But for me, I was able to talk, and my wife was able to talk, and we would learn each other with a whole bunch of passion because we remembered who we were before. That's how I was successful. Yeah. I wish more people would understand that and be able to do that, you know, but it's the world, man.
When I was deployed, believe it or not, I was one of the few that had the experience that others did not, because when I went to Afghanistan, I just got back with the infantry. So their standards and how they do things were closer to TM manual status than engineers who are a little more laid back.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew every single weapon system better than every single person put together in my engineer unit. So I was having to do things that, as an E4, that was E6 and E7 level, because I had experience that was beyond what anyone else had. I knew how to run a Blue Force tracker, which is, if you are familiar with that, it was a tracking system, GPS monitoring, and communication system that you could talk to any single coalition force as long as they had an IP address. you could send, what's up to a French person, a Canadian, Australian, British. It didn't matter. If they were part of the coalition force, you could literally sit there and have a chat with them. You could chat how fast they were going.
That's cool.
And that's what I did as part of my job in Iraq. So when I came back, I was sent to a refresher course, which was meant for NCOs only. And I was not an NCO. But, that helped out with my deployments, but it did nothing to help me out stateside.
Right.
Well, it sounds like you wanted to really learn. It sounds like you were really proud of the stuff you were doing, and you really cared about knowing a lot, and you should be proud of that.
My whole goal was just like anybody else. I don't care. I didn't care if I came home. As long as everybody else got to come home and see their families, that was my mission. Even if our mission was blowing up balloons for kids at birthday parties in the middle of a sandbox, my mission was to get everybody home. So,
right on. So between your deployments, the divorce, and all this stuff, and then you went to Afghanistan after all that.
Well, I was going. My first relationship, my first marriage, from start to finish of this entire relationship lasted 10 months.
Oh, okay.
So it took. The only reason why I had to get a divorce after I came back is because I couldn't talk to an attorney or do anything overseas while I was trying to, prevent myself from getting blown to smithereens. But
yeah,
I finally got that stuff worked out after I got back from Afghanistan, my final deployment.
Okay.
And it was still a mess. I didn't know where to go. I didn't want to go back to Ohio because I swore up and down, if I leave that state, the only way that I go back is to visit and nothing further. Because I felt like I had to show that I could make it on my own, that I could do it, that I could succeed without having to crawl back to mom and dad to reset.
Gotcha.
And, the School of Hard Knocks did not play well with me.
Yeah.
But, after I got back, I struggled bad with jobs and relationships and other things like that. Ended up getting a second divorce. That one with 2 kids involved, and that really made it difficult for me emotionally.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, Micah, as far as jobs go, relationships, I figured be a little too personal, but as far as jobs go, was there any specific thing that was making that job a no-go? Like, what was the struggle? Was it getting along with people? Was it people understanding you? What did you have going on with that?
It was people understanding where I was coming from, and also the fact that I was on a cocktail of VA medication, and it was to the point where I had no idea anything that I was saying to people. I was falling asleep behind the desk and had no idea. I would forget to write down call outs for certain people because I was a security guard. I would oversleep because if I didn't take a certain level of the medication, then I wasn't going to get any sleep at all. But if I took the right amount, then I was getting too much sleep.
Right.
And that cost me jobs just because I couldn't show up.
So when you got out, it was a. Go ahead, Joe.
Are you still on medication?
I am, but I have proudly worked myself through the point now I'm on medication only I am willing to take.
Good.
Because I was on a boatload of them, and I actually got myself clean by myself. I didn't have any court order, or I didn't go into any rehab facility or nothing like that. I isolated myself after learning that I had become addicted to the VA medication after a doctor basically said it without saying those exact words.
Mm-hmm.
I said no more. I isolated myself and went through nasty withdrawal for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for cannabis, I probably would have ended my life going through that detox.
Well, you know,
Really,
now
huh?
I need to throw this out there, you know, because of you were saying how you weaned yourself off. For everybody listening, it is very, very dangerous to quit cold turkey with these medications. These medications build up in your body becomes dependent. But once you remove them out of their cold turkey 100%, you may run into some severe problems and possibly even death. So I urge you to be very careful when you wean yourself off. If you wean yourself off, get some medical attention and let them know what you're trying to do. But for those that want to go after it, go slowly. Okay, folks, that is most important. And so with that being said, Michael, go ahead and please continue, brother.
I mean, you're absolutely right 100%, because I myself didn't want to check myself into any place. I wanted to do it all on my own and fight my battle alone, because that's where I felt comfortable. Mm-hmm. Despite the uncomfortability of the detox, I still felt comfortable isolating myself and locking myself away from society through it all. I was angry. I was bitter. I actually, at one point, one day, got done with a group thing at the VA, and the moment that I hit the doorway to leave that room, everything inside of me became volatile, and not in where I was getting vomiting and having diarrhea or anything like that. No. Every single person that I saw, I considered a major threat to my well-being. And it took everything in me to not grab people by the throat and rip them out of their cars when I felt they weren't doing things right or impeding my path to wherever I was going. I almost lifted a over 1,000-pound granite countertop off of an island and threw it across the room. I was seconds away from doing that, and I had to call the VA and tell them something was wrong. And after I went to urgent care, they said, "Oh, someone else came in with the same symptoms. You just need more of your gabapentin in your blood." I'm like, "So I'm an addict."
Gabapentin?
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
He's like,
sure I do.
He's like, "Your levels are low." I'm like, "So I'm an addict." No, I didn't say that. I'm like, "Yes, you did. You didn't have to say that word for word, but you basically have told me that in order for me to feel better, I need to increase the level of this crap in my system in order to find my balance." That's what addicts do. Mm-hmm. They chase that dragon, man. Yep. And I'm like, I never considered myself an addict up until that point. And so I looked at him, I'm like, I took it just so I could at least not be so raging at the moment. But I said, you know what? Fuck you. You're going to take this shit off of my med list right now. The following week, I went up to my doctor and my psychiatrist. I'm like, you're taking this off of me now. Never got it again. I've avoided it ever since. And now for my mental health, I only take 2 medications. And that's because they work. I am right now still without taking them. And I've been up since 9 o'clock. And I am still balanced. I am still fine. Good. Because I only take 2 that I am willing to take for my mental health. The rest is for my cholesterol, lack in vitamins and whatever, and my sleep, because I do not sleep without medication. I can't.
I'm always amazed at my fellow veterans' stories about how natural it is to isolate. When you're out there with your brothers and sisters, there's no fucking isolation. You're so entrapped with each other. There's no getting away. You know.
No.
And you don't even care to. That's your family out there. It's all you have.
Yeah.
And then we get back here, and it's just like you look around, and they're not there no more. And the natural reaction is to isolate, big time isolate, like from even the people that love you in your own home.
Mm-hmm.
And man, if we could find a way to stop that kind of isolation, we could stop a lot of suicides, I think. You know, it's just like, what's the key? What's the magic? What's the magic combination to help our veterans not isolate and to reach out and get help?
Well, you know, for me,
know.
what I think is big with isolation, because that's me. I isolate, and I still do it to this day. But when I feel I need to be isolated, it's more due to frustration. Okay, like I want to just explain things to you, but it's going to come out in a terrible way that's going to really ruin the situation. And so I have frustration that you're not going to understand me. They have frustration that I'm not going to understand them. And so it's better to isolate, get your brains about you, get your shit to calm down, lose your anxieties, and come back in a peaceful environment, and then discuss things with somebody willing to listen. Now that is key. And you're going to know whether they're willing to listen or not. But I really believe that it's about communication and articulating your feelings to someone else and making them understand you. That's the struggle, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I learned so much from all this, man. I learned
Yeah,
so much
man.
from this show.
It's a big mental game. In my opinion, that these are the things that I go through in my head as far as what my struggle actually was. And it was being understood. I always felt like
being understood.
Believe me. Maybe they didn't believe me. And now I'm pissed off because you think I'm a liar. And so now we got to fight for that, because that's unacceptable. And we just get in our head. But that's what partners are for, man. We understand you. Okay.
Yeah, brother. Thanks for sharing all that, man. I learned every time. So, hey, we're about halfway through. So we'll take a break. We'll support some other veterans. But before we do, Joe and I, we wanted to talk to our listeners that have been steadfast and loyal. And thank all of you for all your love and support you've shown us. We'd like to reiterate that the best way that you guys can help us, it costs nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You can share, you can follow, you can like, you can give reviews on our Facebook page, so call it Doc, on our YouTube channel, on our Spotify thing we got going on for the audio part, the audio listeners, the Apple Podcast, the Roku TV on the Citizen Green TV channel, Citizen Green TV, shares, likes, follows, hit all the buttons, smash all the buttons, huh?
Yeah, use all your fingers and just touch them buttons, man. Subscribe, like, or don't like, give us some feedback. Let us know what we can improve on, man. We need that stuff from y'all.
We've got a sickoatdoc@gmail.com. Hit us up and tell us how you feel about the show or what we could do better. I mean, we're wide open. But we wanted to thank you for all you've done so far. And the people always ask, well, how can I help? You want the best free way to help? Hit the reviews, 5-star it, follow, like, share, post. Just put it everywhere you can for us, y'all. And we couldn't be more appreciative. And with that, let's help some other veterans, Brian. Let's roll.
Join us for Hero Stock, a special event dedicated to honoring our veterans and first responders. Experience a day filled with incredible live music performed by those who served and protected our communities. Connect with our nonprofits dedicated to helping our heroes thrive. Discover the services available to support our veterans and first responders in their journey. Bring the whole family. Kids will love the fun activities designed just for them. Reconnect with your community and celebrate the courage and sacrifice of our heroes at Hero Stock. Join us for a day of music, support, and togetherness. Check us out today on www.herostock.org.
Yay, and we're back. Rod filling his face, getting that energy up. I like it, man. I like it.
I'm sorry you caught me in the middle of a bite.
Hell yeah. You got enough to share with the class, Rod?
I got pizza.
Dang.
Well, Micah, that's a hell of a story so far, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing so much of the stuff that's pretty deep and in depth, you know. So we got to the point where you're out, and the transition from being military to being civilian sucks.
Yep.
Mine was easy. I didn't have any combat. So I didn't, like Joe said, I didn't have to carry that piece with me on the way out, you know. And how fortunate that I don't have to do that, you know. But still, I lost the camaraderie.
Yeah.
I lost being a corpsman. That meant so much to me. Something I hang my hat on every day. My brothers and sisters weren't around. I couldn't take care of Marines. It was just, I didn't know I lost it, to be honest. I didn't know what I was missing. I just knew there was something missing.
Yeah.
You know, so I just went all my adulthood after the military. I did 10 years. I've been out 30. You know, for the past 25 years, I just became a civilian. You know, and this sitcom with Doc, being with Joe, man, I'm back to being a corpsman, bro.
Yes, you are.
So it's been great. So let's carry on. So the VA's filling you full of pills. You've weaned yourself off them. You've found some cannabis to help you. What kind of cannabis? Indica, sativa. What implementation? Do you use one of those big vape bags? Do you take CBD edibles? What do you do to help you?
Well, because of my anxiety, the way that I figure it is, this is my beliefs, and I've been saying this for a little while now, is initially all vets was chasing a high. Let's be honest. Every single vet that picked up cannabis was looking for a high, an escape, a release. Now, that's not what I do. Do I get some of those side effects of it? Yeah. That pleasant euphoria, the snacky type, you know, the giggles, the sleepy, the whatever. But what I do is I try and target things like my anxiety, my pain, my sleep, my mood. So I steer clear away from sativas because that's not helping me regulate.
Mm-hmm.
That's counteracting the purpose of me trying to regulate.
Okay.
So I'll use hybrids. I'll smoke it through a bong. I've got a number of pieces, which when you live close to the Crystal City,
Yeah.
which is, according to New York, you tend to see the value and the beauty in glass. as opposed to using electronic, which are great, but I like the feel of having a bong in my hands. I like the sound that it makes. I like the artistry behind it and the functionality. And I will stick with hybrids, 50-50 hybrids, or indica leaning to indica all day. Just because I want to feel normal.
What's normal, man? Shit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Got this idea, man.
Well, no, okay, I guess more social.
Got you. Right.
And sativa
more able to deal with other people's shit.
Yes.
and people are able to deal with me.
I understood. Yeah.
Amen.
I know I'm not easy to handle, and it's frustrating because, I want to be able to be like that, but I'm not wired that way. I'm wired like you guys. I'm wired differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I use these to help out. In fact, I've actually been able to help out a buddy of mine who I got in contact with. We actually met through the VA. And he said that he needed help with his anxiety, well, mostly his depression and other things. So I went and got him a vape that had 2 different strains in it. And he said for the first time in years, he was able to chill his thoughts, no overthinking, and he was able to sleep in. His wife thought he was dead because normally he gets up at 6:30. He didn't wake up till 9:30.
Nice.
He needed it. He needed it.
And by helping others find their balance, even in just cannabis, now we can open up doors. Because that's what happened to me. Once I finally found what I needed that was going to help me, that helped me open and go through the doors that people were inviting me through.
That's crucial.
I went from being a shut-in to, hey, Micah, yeah, buddy. Hey, we need someone to help us get our numbers up at my VFW post. Do I have to do anything? No. All right, good. And that's how it went. And that was just the initial start to everything. Then he comes back and goes, oh, hey, brother. Shit. What? We need a chaplain. And you have familiarity with religion because you grew up in the church like me. But I already have an elected position. We need someone to fill in. I'm like, what do I have to do? I'll just read some prayers at the meetings and at public events. Is that all? Yeah. Well,
we just need to represent the Lord.
That was it. That was it. And I got back with him that night. I was reluctant about it. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. Went down and didn't really feel like I found my belonging there. The post was rude and off-putting towards me, but I stuck it out. It was rough, but I stuck it out, and now I bring a vape or I have weed with me in the car everywhere I go. And I went from being someone that didn't want anything to do with the VFW, do with society. Now I'm a chaplain at a post level, 5 years going, 5, almost 6 years going, and a district level chaplain for about 4 to 5 years running now, and getting ready to campaign to become senior vice because I'm junior vice of my district. I operate and run a cornhole tournament.
Love cornhole, bro.
And the local honor guard team for the county. in Pennsylvania. And this here has helped out with at least me being comfortable enough to go out and try to do that.
So is it safe to say that your research into what helps you with cannabis has allowed you to sleep better? It's allowed you to slow your mind down so that you can think clearer, so you can make a list, so that you can make some goals, so that you can have a mission, which brings you hope. And when you have hope, you don't commit suicide. Is that a nice little way of, is that what you are trying to tell me?
Yep. And it does help. I will say it does help to have the right support system too.
Yeah.
You know,
Right on.
my wife is the biggest contribution towards that. Without her
Nice.
support, without her love, I could not be in the positions that I'm in and do the things that I'm doing.
Well, give credit where credit's due, right?
Yep.
She just reminded me that initially I wanted to quit 3 months into it. But she told me, stick it out. And that was even with my own ministry that you guys found. I wanted to give up because I wasn't seeing people jumping on when I was going live, 5, 6, 7 people. I wasn't seeing that. I was okay if I saw 2 people for a minute or two before it went off. But she kept telling me, your message is getting out. You got to give it time. Give it time. And because of that, I've been running a church for 3 years. And my mission has always stayed the same. And it's evolved. Now, I am all about the veteran and their family. If I can advocate, if I can help assist, guide in any sort of direction, offer hope, because I myself have received hope, then who am I to not try to put that back out there?
Yeah. So finding a better way to medicate is 10 times better than where you were at. And now you are contributing to your fellow veterans, where before you were isolated, you were ornery, you were misunderstood, you didn't even understand yourself.
Yeah.
And look how just helping yourself with the cannabis has opened every door on the way out, bro. Look at that. Now, is that all that self-initiative, self-discipline, self-motivation, the willing to want to be better, all of those things also come into play.
Yep.
But
synergy, man, synergistic. It all has to work together. Once you find that happy medium, sky's the limit. I think you're experiencing that right now, Micah.
Yeah, once shit lines up, bro, it's an amazing thing. Joe and I see it all the time, bro. It's like we're so blessed to see it.
So many of the people that come on here talk about their spouses, and I love to hear that. For me, I've been married 32 years to one single woman, and she's been through it all with me. I like to refer to her as my mental warrior. She is my calm up here, okay? Because this part is what's going to get me into using these. And I don't want to be using these anymore. I'm way over that shit. I'm bigger than that. And so she keeps me calm. She keeps me, guided on that path that I chose, which was what my body wants, what my mind wants is to help others. That's that beauty, man. But anyway, it seems like your wife is your mental warrior. And good on you for having that, man.
Yeah, man.
It took a while. When she found me, I was a completely different person. I was angry, volatile. I was someone that I'm shocked that she even stuck around with during that time, because I was not a good person. I can't even sit here and No.
She must have thought you were really hot, bro, because like the rest of it wasn't very hot, bro. You know what I'm saying? You must have that thing, you know what I'm saying?
I think it was just definitely my charm, you know.
Yeah, the charm.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Take it, run with it.
Yeah,
But I
whatever
will
it
say
was.
though, that one thing that I tell everybody, and it's so true. The first time we started talking, there was something different about her, because we were only talking as friends and people that enjoyed nicotine vape, because that's what we were into. That's how we met, was through a vaping group on Facebook, and we got to talking about our different flavors, our favorite flavors of vapes and all that. And
So cannabis brought you together.
And then cannabis just tied us even farther, because I'm like, yo, I smoke weed, and she goes, oh, I do on occasion. And then she went from smoking on occasion to smoking every night with me after she got off work, and then every day.
Mm-hmm.
But she came across as not just a good-looking girl, but someone that actually had personality, someone that had something to ground with.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept telling her, you know, I could take you out to the bar with my boys, and we'd have a fantastic time together. You'd fit right in with the fellas. I'm not even kidding you. I've never met a female that could do that.
My wife, Joe's wife.
Yeah, that's facts.
And
there's a few out there, bro.
Yep.
We have our own synergy. I mean, yeah, we have our rocky moments too, but
everybody does.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah.
We have all kinds of fun. Like, we'll literally sit here, she in front of my adoptive father. I gotta tell the story. This is hilarious. Okay, we both say mom jokes because we both grew up with biological mothers that we didn't care for.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd be like, your mom, your mom, your mom. And that's all day back and forth. It's hilarious to us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at the Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Right?
Canton, Ohio.
And she goes, hey, Bill, who is my adoptive father, not my biological father, the one that, the Chernobyl vet, but my adoptive dad. She goes, I'm going to tell you right now that I have a tendency to say your mom jokes, but it's not about your mom. It just comes out of my mouth. Literally 5 minutes later, we're still walking around in the first area, and she comes out with like your mom joke after she sees something that I myself would have said your mom joke about as well.
Mm.
And that just been our relationship. She can sit with my aunt and these two. I don't need any TV. I can get high and watch my aunt and my wife interact, and that is enough entertainment for me.
That's funny.
And she fits in so well with them, and neither one of us fit in with my adoptive family now. I haven't since I joined the service.
Yeah, you remember that old Billy Joel song, man? How does the words go? She's got a way about her. I don't know what it is. And that's it reminds me of that. Yep. Every girl's got something special, bro. Every single one on the planet.
Yep.
Just gotta find out what that special thing is.
And see if it fits with you. And it seems like it's working perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
So what's going on now? What's all the big dreams, bro? What are you doing?
Well, we are trying to get a nonprofit up and running, actually. We're still trying to come up with a name, but the idea that we're wanting to do is give away blankets to homeless veterans and care packages like socks, underwear, hygiene items, and offer them avenues, resources, contacts, so that they can possibly start getting their lives back by trying to apply for benefits and being in contact with those who know how to help each veteran.
Gotcha.
And my church is going to be a part of it, where I'm going to be there for the ministry part of it, the prayer, the support, the guidance. In fact, I'm wanting to become a New York peer specialist and maybe even Pennsylvania. That way I can have counseling as part of our mission as well. Because my wife and I have both stood down a number of my friends who have literally put the gun in their mouths in front of us and pulled the trigger.
Yes.
We have watched friends of ours attempt suicide in front of our faces, and we have been able to save them from themselves. So if we can offer hope to others, this is how we want to start. A homemade brand new blanket. Something that is enough to keep you warm. And I don't know about you guys, but I like those thoughtful blankets and those thoughtful handmade gifts better than 90% of the crap that I was issued in the Army.
Right.
Because it came from the heart. It came from people with love.
Yeah, agreed.
When you're going to a place where there is no love other than you for your battle buddy.
Yeah,
So,
my mom made me a blanket, crocheted me a blanket when I was a young punk in the Navy on my ship. I told her how scratchy the Navy blankets were, so she crocheted me a blanket to fit my rack, so, and I had to tuck it away, and make my rack military. But, when I slept with mom's blanket over me, man.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
And, that to us, is a sign of a little bit of hope,
Yeah.
Because these vets didn't ask to be homeless. Their families didn't ask to be homeless. They are, in a lot of cases, the victims of the broken contract between the government and us. We fulfilled our part of the contract. When they failed to fulfill their part, why do you think vets are homeless? Because they don't trust the government. So if we don't give them a reason to trust them, they're not gonna.
Well, that's because the politicians make us go fight for them out there. And then when we come home, they make us fight them here.
Yep.
And that's just a wrong system. We're on the losing end every way you turn on that.
Our enemy should not be our own people.
No. Yeah. You can take that all the way back to the Vietnam vets. They got spit on the whole freaking time they come home, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can take it back all the way to there, So I mean, yeah. So let me post this up. Maybe Brian can post it up, man. Broken Spirits Ministry on Facebook
and on YouTube.
And on YouTube. And any of us veterans who could use someone to talk to, if you have faith in the biblical faith or not.
You don't even need to have faith.
You need to just come talk. Just come talk. And Micah is there.
I have no problem meeting you where you are. Here's something that I have taken away that I think is just so crucial to some of the things that I have learned over my years in the VFW. As a member, doesn't even have to be as a chaplain, even though they geared it towards us. But the way that you get someone to open up is you meet them where they are. Sit down at the bar with them. If you don't drink, have a soda or a bottle of water and share a story. You get them to open up.
Oh, yeah.
And you there have the ability to give hope and be someone that they can talk to.
Yeah.
That's all.
And sometimes, folks, as far as for our people out here watching too, a lot of times the veteran or the individual doesn't need somebody to talk to them. They need to be heard, right? That's it. Just let me get my shit out. If it's good, bad, or indifferent, and just be there for me, brother. That's it. And then if they, would need a little bit of guidance, we give it to them then. But be good listeners, folks. If you have a brother or a sister that's in need of talking, listen to them.
In all relationships, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Yep, exactly.
I said that. I said that to a 6th grade teacher, to be completely honest. My homeroom teacher, she was talking with one student, and I was trying to talk to her, and she goes, "Boy, I was already trying to hear one person." I'm like, "You got 2 ears and 1 mouth, don't you?" And she goes, "Boy, I'm going to nail you."
Well, you had it coming.
Oh, if I was gonna get in trouble, that was well earned and deserved.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, Micah, I'm proud of you. Thank you for your service to this country, man. Thank you for service. Thank you for your service to your fellow brothers and sisters while you were in and now that you're out. I appreciate you coming on this show and telling your story. It's never easy. That's why I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you, brother, man, very, very much.
I appreciate you, Micah, man, and thank you for doing what you do.
If there's anything that Sick Call with Doc can do for you to help you with your ministry, just let us know, bro, and we'll support you. I'm so glad you found less pharmaceuticals and more cannabis. I'm glad you found your way and have hope and dreams. It's amazing. Joe and I get to see it all the time, man.
Yeah.
It keeps us fired up to keep doing the show for you guys, man. So thank you, brother, very, very much. I'll ask you one last question.
Go ahead.
If you needed to get out 2, 3, 4 sentences, a paragraph, and you had to reach out to a veteran in trouble today, what would you say?
Don't be afraid to vent. We all need to vent. And with venting comes the opportunity to grow and to rise. So allow yourself to rise, because I will walk behind my brothers and sisters so I can catch you when you fall, and I'll happily walk to lead you through the trouble paths in your way. That should be the mission and goal of every one of our brothers and sisters.
Very cool, bro.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for that. All right, man. To our listeners, thank you for showing up. Thank you for hanging out with us. Remember, share, like, post, slam buttons, do all that stuff. Appreciate you guys. God bless.
See y'all.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.